Hey guys, good afternoon. We are going to review a video here of Penelope, who is a 5-year-old Andalusian mare that I've been working with for about 5 months. I should say I've had the pleasure of working with for 5 months. She is just a delightful young lady and I love working with her. She's super smart and a very flexible little noodle, but she is super awesome and really fun to work with. This day, we hauled her over to an arena nearby. We hauled her over once before, but just took a little trip and looked around and came back home that day. So this is the first time we went to go see this place, and it's definitely an interesting place. Lots to look at and lots of sounds and lots of stuff, including some mutton busting chutes, so those look and smell interesting to her as well. If you're not familiar, that involves sheep, and I'm guessing they use those chutes for other livestock as well. Anyway, plenty to process on this day, and this young lady just takes it in stride like a champ. So we're just doing a warm-up here to let her body loosen up a little bit before we get on, and also to let her look around because she's never been here before. No problem with letting her do that from her back if needed or if preferred, but I prefer to loosen up my horses before I get on, and might as well go ahead and look around and take in what we're doing here. So she was a little bit hesitant about the bleachers there, so we just repark her and let her process it and get okay with it before we move on. So I kind of swing the rope in the air next to her left shoulder as she's looking around. I have no problem with her looking around, but if she does it so much that she just kind of like falls into me, we're going to address that spatial issue. And in that time, I addressed it by kind of flopping the rope in the air next to her shoulder. So plenty to be desired, let's say, biomechanically here, but it's not really about that. Not for right now anyway. We are more concerned with letting her move and breathe and just take things in and become comfortable and regulated in this place that she's never been before, which, by the way, she hauled here alone, left her friends. You know, she's doing fantastic, I would say, for her first time doing all this stuff. So we're just going to let her take it in and kind of keep having conversations that she knows how to have well at home. And so there's times where she gets a little lost looking, and then we just kind of say, hey, you know how to do this. Let's do that thing. Let's do this thing. That's surely not the halt we desire, but that's okay. And what I mean by that is it was very responsive. I asked her to halt. She was right there, but she's kind of winging herself around and not very balanced, but it's okay. She got distracted. She saw something across the neighborhood there. Not a big deal. There's certainly different ways to look at that, and there's definitely times that I am going to say, yeah, we're going to talk about posture and balance and biomechanics right now, and we're not going to always be in this mode that we're in here that's kind of loosey-goosey, we'll call it, moving around a little loose and a little wiggly. No problem if that's what we need to do to sort out some feelings, let's say, and just get comfortable. but it can't be what you do all the time either. So that's a whole other discussion. That's another lunch break lesson, I suppose. Anyway, she starts to have times like this where she's comes together in one piece. We turn it into a trot and she gets a little lost. No big deal. Could be a lot worse. There's moments her attention floats out. There's moments that we can float it back in, but we're just loosening up, feeling the feels. I'd say that's a pretty reasonable canter on the lunge for a lady in a new place. I don't believe in planning on letting a horse wing around and gallop and lean on the rope and all that. Not to say that it doesn't happen sometimes, because it does. No big deal, but that can't be the way it always goes. That cannot be the expectation. And some people may not know what I mean there, but the expectation, I would say, at some horse shows is horses go winging around on lunge lines in terrible unbalanced circles and get stiff and worked up and bleh. No need. No need. So now we're taking her down by the area that was a little more concerning to her down here by the bleachers and this barrel she wants to check out that was tipped over, and there's some more pens, and I'll call it a rooster farm. I don't know what else I don't know what else it is. There's a lot of roosters around here, as you may have noticed. And most of them are over this way where she's not sure she wants to go. Now we also get some horse friends and a goat friend that trot up behind us to say hello. So I just let her take this all in. If she feels the need to move and it wasn't something that I initiated, if I'm able to, I'm just going to repark her and reassure her that she's cool. Yep, so we see our horse friends that trotted over there. We're going to get ready to head down the rail that I would say she's the most concerned about, that has the rooster farm and a banner and the livestock chutes and things like that. So she is willing to step towards the fence there, or towards her right. And I'm glad that she is, but I can tell she's not confident. So I choose to switch sides and be between her and the scary fence and go with the other bend. At least to start. So we're gonna head down the rail. I know she's gonna wanna look off that direction, so I set it up that way. I ask her to be in a right bend, and then I ask her to turn it into a little bit of a counter shoulder in, or a right shoulder in. Now this is something she already knows how to do very easily, and to her it's a relaxing, loosening thing to do at home. So when we do it here, it's just something that helps kind of settle her mind, give her something that her body knows how to do, relaxed. And then when she takes all this stuff in, we had another big dog friend over there. Like, there's so much stuff for her to look at, and she does super. So it may not have been as confidence building for her had I stayed on her left and tried to force her to stay in a left bend and not look at those things. So this is why I choose this way first. And here she wants to take a little time to take in the dog and the banner. How did she tell me that? Well, she wasn't quite willing to move in that same free way, so I could tell that I would be better off pausing, processing, then moving off like this again. So now we're going to go back down the fence the other way, and again I'm going to switch sides and basically have her in a counter bend, facing the fence, facing the stuff I already know she wants to look at, and I am placed between her and the quote-unquote scary things or interesting things, and just setting us up for success and building her confidence with things that she was a little unsure about. There would be no problem with doing this same sort of stuff under saddle, but we were going to loosen up the body before I got on anyway, so I may as well kill two birds with one stone. Got our little left shoulder in, or counter shoulder in here. Cruising down the rail while she takes it all in. She could use a little more flow there. It's a little sticky and a little more angle than she needed there, but whatever, no big deal. Alright, so now we stay in our left bend and go back down the rail. This time she is now between me and the scary things. I'm not between there being that buffer anymore. And I don't ask her to hold the left shoulder in all the way. I just walk, and as long as she isn't, it's okay to glance. It's not a big deal, but if she turns her head to the right and cranes her neck over and pushes her shoulder into me, that's not okay. So I'm feeling if that happens. It doesn't. She's walking totally calm, so I say, okay, can you give me a little left shoulder in? Great. Gave me a step or two without worrying too much about the stuff that she was worried about earlier, so I release and walk off and then repeat it. Again, she's a little leany. I say, hey, can you stand up a little straighter? Can you give me a little moment of left shoulder in? Yep, sure can. There's that banner she was worried about. Fine, no big deal. Oh no, we didn't bring them out. So now we go and hop on from the fence, like you should be able to do on any good horse. First time they go somewhere. What a lady. So now we just go exploring around the arena under saddle. So I start on pretty loose reins, but if she needs me to pick them right up and give direction, I have, I'll go right into that, and then ideally when I first get on, I'm gonna ride around a little bit on a loose rein since she just hasn't done all that much warm-up. She was getting a little lost, and so I just go ahead and do something specific and ask for a moment of some shoulder in, just to kind of check in with her brain and body and give her something to think about. And now we get some visitors from the neighborhood coming in, so that was fabulous. Good experience to get to see other horses come in. So now we're back off cruising around the other way, headed towards the end of the ring she was a little more unsure about. We didn't turn there necessarily because we had to, but I'm not going to push it as far as she's willing to go every time either. I'm just going to choose different amounts of, let's say I'll choose different paths, and different paths are going to involve different amounts of perceived pressure based on the things that she was concerned about. The more she goes by and sees some things and experiences some things, the less it becomes such a perceived pressure. But to start, it was. So I'm always thinking about those pressures, whatever they may be, not to avoid them, but to help them shape my decisions. Or questions, maybe not my decisions. Shape my questions, shape my conversations and the things I ask the horse to do, which I guess I am making decisions. So anyway, welcome to talking to myself. Anyway, here we're just playing around with a little right bend and left bend, and did a little position 2 and a little this and a little that. There's some visitor horses down at the end of the ring that she's interested in now. So now we're off cruising, feeling her comfort level and feeling her ability to kind of focus on me and her body and what we're doing, and not feel like she has to be overly concerned with this new place and the stuff going on around it. Since we're just watching a little cruise here, I'll tell you what I'm riding in, which is a halter with some rope reins on it. That's the white reins you might be able to see here and there, although they kind of match her neck. So the white reins are attached to her rope halter. At the chin, I would say, the chin of her rope halter. And then she also has a regular bridle on, and that has regular reins on it. So there's times that I am more on the halter reins, and there's times that I am more on the bridle reins. In this beginning part, I am still just on the halter for the most part, I would say. It's not to say the bit is not being engaged, because I am moving it with my hands, and it's not totally loose. So now Penelope gets to watch the visitor horse canter around, which is just perfect. I love to see that she is, not that this is the same as like a chaotic warm-up ring, but I'll take having a visitor go canter around for her to experience and see that she's totally cool with that. And hopefully that means when she gets to a busy warm-up arena, she can respond just the same, like a little lady. Those very sweet horses that came, and a sweet lady, by the way. She ponied her young horse there over and tied him up and rode her other one around, the older guy. Very good horses, very well behaved. All right, so now here we have begun to engage the bit a little more, getting a little more specific about how I'm asking her to travel around. And I think she's doing just fantastic. She's down at the quote-unquote scary end, doing super. You can see her. She'll look at something here or there, but she's really doing well and just loosely cruising, her tail swinging around. Love to see it. The reason I like to see her tail swinging like that is it means her back is loose. She's moving freely. We're a little unsure right now. Now, I would say that she was a little unsure. She would have been more than happy to just trot past that end of the ring. But could I feel that she was tightening up and no longer freely cruising around the curve with the right bend? Yes. So I slowed things down in order to address that and get her back to releasing her body and loosely moving around the curve, rather than kind of holding her breath and clenching her teeth and going around the curve. That doesn't necessarily build her confidence in the quote-unquote scary end of the ring. Sometimes they do build confidence by holding their breath and clenching their teeth and living through it, honestly, to a degree. Sometimes the experience of that a few times and then they go, oh yeah, that wasn't so bad. But there's definitely a fine line, and there's definitely a time that that's not the way to go. So here we're just walking kind of loosely, but I am shaping her into a bit of a counter shoulder in. You could see her look a little bit, she was a little looky at something that was across the street there, so I just was helping her do something she knows how to do that helps her think of her body and loosen her body, rather than just sort of leave her unattended while she's looking off at things. Just reassuring her that she's cool by asking her to do something simple that she knows how to do. Very brave and relaxed over there on the side by some chutes and the banner. I mean, gosh, sorry, I'm just sitting here. Not much more to say. She's just being adorable, looking around, having a nice morning at a new place. There's plenty of things we could pick on if we wanted to, but why? She looks pretty darn good. She's focused on the job, moving nicely. She's getting soft and stretchy for me. So we move on to the canter. She's pretty quiet at home, so it's nice to feel her with a hair more energy out somewhere. Funny that this is her with a hair more energy. But anyway, she's doing lovely. Her brakes work really well. And right back to relaxed, exactly how you want your canter away from home to be.
Is her name Tamara? Mine. I don't have a trailer for mine. My
a little bit unsure that she wanted to canter away from her new BFFs that she met there at the arena. A little sticky in that transition, but no biggie. She is loosening right up and finding her way. She was a little bit stuck in that right shoulder, so I did the best we could and then chose to address it a little bit more specifically as after we broke to the trot. So we went and did that counter bent circle, or you could say just held the right bend and turned it into a position 2 and went the other way to help her find the release and loosen it up, and then walk away nice and relaxed. And this is where we ended it for the day, because we were about out of time and just couldn't ask for a better quick solo haul out and ride experience. I hope you enjoyed a little lunch break in my mind, talking to myself, narrating a ride of myself on a client's horse. So anyway, in all seriousness, I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you enjoyed watching that sweet horse as much as I enjoyed working with her today. And if you have any questions about what I did or why I did it, or the kind of things that went into her training prior to this day to make this sort of confidence building day possible, feel free to reach out. And I do promise also I will get back to a live Zoom and lunch break lesson. That is happening. It's a promise. I just can't promise you when yet. So we'll get back to that, and you are most certainly welcome to at any time send me a question or a video question for review. We may do it live soon. We may do something like this, but either way, I look forward to learning and talking with you all soon. Have a great day.